Hey, it's AJ Diliberto here. Just wanted to do some training, got some things on my heart here. We've been doing some trainings about and things like this, and just really got to share with you. And it really is the concept of short term, long term. Short term, long term. I think people come into this business sometimes, maybe even most of the time, with unrealistic expectations and unrealistic expectations. Probably the best way to talk about that. Believing that you're going to come into a business and there's just going to be all this instant success. And so the reality is there is instant success stories. There are people who have great success immediately in our business, and it could happen for you too. So it's not that it's impossible, and it's not that it hasn't been done. It absolutely has been done. But I think there's also but the idea that that's normal, the idea that that is that's going to happen for you is really 100% going to be, do you have a reason why it should happen fast for you? That's the question. So if you got a reason why and you're willing to take the action, then it certainly can. The other factor with the quick start is that you may have a ton of experience in another business, some other business ownership or real estate or sales of some kind, where you can take some of those skills and apply them to what we do at Legal Shield. And again, instant success, sales, recruiting, because maybe you have influence and posture and you've learned a lot of the success tips. So those are two ways to get started fast, right? A ton of action or a lot of success that you've had elsewhere, and certainly a combination, because even just having the success doesn't get there without the action and obviously the prospecting and contacting people and things like that. So then beyond that, though, we have this career called home business ownership and Legal Shield. So really that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a career of making money, just like you have a career in insurance, you have a career in cutting hair, you have a career in landscaping, you have a career as whatever the case may be, being a computer consultant, right? All of those things are a matter of not, oh, I'm going to succeed in 1 year or 1 month or 1 day. If I don't get 3 clients by the end of the day, I quit computer consulting. Or if I don't have 5 landscaping jobs in the first 30 days, I quit. But at the same time, if you need to do landscaping, what are you going to do? You're going to knock on doors. You're going to look around for lawns that look like they haven't been cut. You're going to look for lawns that have weeds and things like this, so that you can offer a service and offer value, so that you could get your foot in the door and begin to build a clientele. And then, of course, get referrals and things like this. So, and I can use that same example with absolutely everything in life. That is being a business owner. So when you get in a Legal Shield, you want to think about 3 to 5 years from now, you want to be in business. You want to be building a book of business for the long term, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You're in business. You've gone into business for yourself as a Legal Shield professional. Now, your success is going to be your action that you take or don't take early on. But certainly don't think talking to 2 or 3 people about the service or the opportunity is somehow going to make you a wealthy person, because that doesn't happen in any other business. So anyway, so that's that. So now the analogy I want to really bring up here is, let's say I have a goal of running a marathon. Okay, and I'm not in that great a shape. I don't run a lot, and so if I had a goal of running a marathon in 90 days, could I do it? Okay, so I'm inclined to think, yes, I could do it if I was able to devote the time, and there was a system. I had a trainer and a system that was able to get me from where I am today to that point. And I would have to be a lot of action, daily action, and doing these things. A more reasonable goal, right, might be a year, or maybe I don't even have that big of a goal. Maybe it doesn't even matter. If it's a year or 2 years, I go, you know what, someday I'm going to run a marathon. Could be 5 years, could be 10 years, doesn't really matter. And see, Legal Shield is no real different than that. Do you want to be an executive director today or next year? Or is it okay that it takes 3, 4, 5 years? It doesn't really matter. But let's say I have a 5-year goal to run a marathon. Well, I could take baby steps. I could set goals to run a 1K, and then maybe eventually a 3K, and then eventually a 5K. And I'm beginning to build up my stamina, build up my experience. But now on the other end, let's say I've been running my whole life. Every year I run 1Ks, 5Ks, and I say, you know what? I'm going to do a marathon in 90 days. but I'm already in shape. I already know how to run. I have discipline. All of these things. Well, it's going to be easier for me to run that marathon in 90 days than for the person who never ran and is out of shape. Okay, but the person who's out of shape can still probably do it, or maybe finish at least, right? To have a goal of doing something, or certainly even if they don't win the marathon or they don't finish the marathon, right? Could they finish 14 miles and say, oh my gosh, I mean, I would never have done even 14 miles if I hadn't done this training. And so you got further to the goal without necessarily maybe even reaching the full goal, but you did way better, right? And this is anything, right? Weight loss. You know, you wanted to lose 100 pounds, you only lost 50 pounds. Well, pretty good to lose 50 pounds. And now you're eating better and working out and having some better habits in your life. So again, Legal Shield, no different than any of these things. We want to have a long-term mindset. We're looking to build a long-term residual income, but it's going to take short-term action, right? You got to work out every day. You got to lift. You got to do your exposures. That's what you have to do. So I guess my challenge to you, if you're watching this, that means you have at least enough commitment and enough desire in your Legal Shield business to put 6 or 7 minutes towards it. And the question is, do you want the long-term result? That's the first question. Do you want to win a marathon, or do you want to run a marathon? Do you want that? Do you want the $500 a day that comes in whether you work or not? $1,000 a day that comes in whether you work or not? Do you want that? If you don't even want that, then I don't know. I mean, I think you gotta want the long-term result, because why would you stick in it long-term? If all you want to do is some short-term result, well, if I don't make $1,000 this month, I'm out. Okay, well, again, I think you gotta look at the long-term. Do I want that? Now you say, what do you want short-term? Do you need the $1,000 or $5,000? Or I just heard a story today, $9,000 a woman made in like 3 months. Why? Because she had to. She had a why. She believed. She did it. Incredible story. And I posted it on the site here. So hopefully you can get to that. But it's, so the quick money could be there for you if you're willing to do the action. Okay, so we got short-term, we've got long-term. But again, you don't have to make short-term money to make the long-term money. But you do have to take action short-term. And you do have to have those consistencies every day, getting up, stretching, running, walking a mile, running a mile, then the next day 2 miles, the next day 3 miles. Eventually, you get to your results. So I want you to think about the short-term. Why take action today? What is it today that burns? And what is it today that you absolutely need to do? And if there's nothing, then do you want the long-term? And if you want the long-term, no big deal. Come to the trainings, come to all the things, do your 2 a day, take a longer approach to the 5-minute, to the 5-year mark and all as well. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful to you. Bye-bye.